All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the new Modular Media Bionicle cast. I'm your host, the Vacuuminator, and I'm joined this week by Miriam of Buster. Buster, how you doing? You want to talk about Bionicle with me?
Yeah,
You
let's
did you watch Legends of
Bionicle boy.
Matanui? What
I've
kits did you
only
build this week?
I, oh god, I did think this would come up on the actual podcast because I was joking because when we get to housekeeping, you'll see why we're kind of a bit hesitant to talk Toku this week. But
I mean, it's been a bit of a rough one, but I guess go ahead and roll the intro, everybody.
Do you like Toku? Well, I like Toku. What about Toku? This week in Toku.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to This Week in Toku. For real now, I'm the Vacuuminator.
I'm Buster Corp or Buster. I don't know.
And this week and this week we're going to be discussing more fan subpocalypse shit, a trademark for a new Kamen Rider, more Ultraman trigger casting, and new episodes and old episodes. But before we get into any of that, Buster, is there even really any point in asking how you're doing this week? Because I think we're both equally flustered.
Yeah. I was gonna. There was something I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. For a second I thought you were gonna say fan sub politics, but it said fan sub apocalypse, which but they're pretty much interchangeable terms at this point.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Let's just get into it.
Should we just get right into it? Yeah, Jesus. Okay, so if you listened to the podcast last week, you'll know that we talked about the fact that a subgroup received, a couple of subgroups actually received a supposed cease and desist from Toei Company Ltd. In regards to releasing fan subs for Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. And a lot of people had theorized that in reaction to this, this was done in reaction to a producer who works for Toei, is a big head honcho at Toei, is currently heading up the production of Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger over there. He was being made aware of the Western Toku fandom via Twitter, and they were also talking about various things that had leaked in the news and may have also mentioned fan subs. In fact, I think that was all but confirmed when he once tweeted something along the lines of, "We aren't supposed to know how you are able to see the shows, but we do." In reaction to this, again, supposed cease and desist going out, a lot of people were redirected to this man's Twitter because of this notion that it may have been because he found out about fan subs. And a lot of people got very upset with him and sent him various degrees of politeness, imploring him to cancel the cease and desist, I think is what they were asking for. Even though that's not really a thing you can do. People, what kind of world are we living in when I have to explain to you people that contacting a producer for a show and asking them not to file a cease and desist against a company that, regardless of whether or not it's providing a way for us to watch it when we otherwise wouldn't have one, is still illegally distributing someone else's product, and asking them not to file that cease and desist is okay. Like, what fucking dimension are you people from?
Earth.
I really resist using this kind of language these days, but honestly, a lot of the Toku fandom outed themselves as complete idiot man-children dumbasses who don't deserve the amount of content they're being given. And I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to read off anyone's tweets here, but I saw a number of them. I saw some of the big ones people were pointing and laughing at, and it just really made me ashamed to be a part of this fandom. I'm not going to lie, especially when a couple days later, Shirakura himself came out and said, basically, I don't really understand what's happening, stuffing about someone who was distributing the shows in your market being shut down. That's not my department. As in, if these cease and desists are legit, they had nothing to do with him. So you people, like I said last week, you people messaging him is only throwing gasoline on the fire, if there even is a fire to throw gasoline on. What? This is frustrating. I can't
really
even form a proper sentence on it. I don't know. Buster, do you have anything to add?
Don't at producers on Twitter asking them about pirating shows. That ain't cool, man. Trying to be as friendly as possible, because I could easily go rage mode, but I kind of want to soften the blow.
Yeah, well, you're less inclined to go rage mode than I am, and I made a whole series going rage mode on a series, so there's that.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like, I don't know, people. What's his name? The current guy who's in charge of Power Rangers when he got
Simon Bennett.
We were all talking about, like, when that happened. We all said, and I'm going to reiterate this here because this goes not just for Simon Bennett, not just for Shirokura, but anyone who's involved with production of tokusatsu or any kind of media you like on any level. You can tweet them saying, "Hey, I enjoy this. This is what I like about it. This is what I don't like about it," in a polite, critical manner, constructively. And if you're upset it's not being distributed in your market, you can make that clear, again, politely. But do not send these people stuff going like, "Hey, what the hell's wrong with you? Why'd you shut down this YouTube channel that was posting uploads of the French airings of the current season of Power Rangers that are in English? I wanted to watch that early because I live in America." Don't be sending shit like that in. Don't be sending shit like this shit that got sent to Shakura. Like, this is not why these people are on Twitter. They're on it to try and connect with the fans in a positive manner, or they're on it just to use social media for their own means. A lot of these people, like Simon Bennett, joined Twitter just for his own reasons, and then the Power Rangers fandom found him, and he ended up having to adjust to that. Ended up having to turn it into kind of a PR thing for the show, and it's worked for him. But I can tell that, like, all we have done in the last week or so is antagonize Shakura, and I would not be surprised if, and I would not feel at all bad if the man decided to delete his Twitter over some of this shit. Like, he would be totally in the right to do that.
Yeah, honestly, I'd like, speaking of the Simon Bennett thing, if we do get those, like, Dino Fury leaks that happened with Beast Morphers, that's gonna be a bad day.
Yeah, and that's a whole conversation we need to have the behind the scenes if we're going to cover those, if they happen or not. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, everyone.
If it ever comes, because sometimes they don't. But anyway, speaking of the Fans Apocalypse.
Yeah, let's transition into the news here, and following up on our top story from last week, which is that TV Nihon has officially decided to completely cancel their subs of episodes of Kamen Rider Saber and Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger. They put out a statement on their Twitter, which basically said, look, we're not really happy about having to do this, but we have no way of knowing if the cease and desist is real or not, and we don't want to put legal targets on anyone's back. There's a lot of people who work in this group, so we're just going to stop subbing the shows for the rest of this year at the very least. They will still be subbing the commercials. They're going to have discussion threads up on their websites, and they have wikis for the shows that you can use, but they themselves will no longer be subbing the shows.
Actually, can I add the side
like I said,
note?
Go ahead.
I'm thankful they're still subbing the commercials, because I actually use those commercials as transitions for my Toku reviews, so thank you, TV
I'm very much of two minds on this because, like, on the one hand, I never used TB Nihon subs unless I had absolutely no other choice because their subs very much aren't to my taste. But like I said last week, this is the oldest tokusatsu subgroup around. They've been doing this, like it says here in their Twitter bio as I'm looking at this, since 2002. They're almost a 20-year-old group. And to see them get kneecapped like this is a bit unfortunate. It's a bit of fandom history that's kind of being left by the wayside here because all their other subs were removed, of course, and they are still going to sub other things besides Tokusatsu. I think they sub like Precure and stuff like that as well.
Well, Precure
But
now has an
as
official
far as-
release, so
Oh, okay. Then my information on that is a bit out of date. But yeah, they're still going to be around. They're just not going to be subbing the current seasons of Rider and Sentai this year, which is a bit sad. If you're looking for other resources in how to find subs for Rider and Sentai this year, I would direct people the same way I did last year, which is look up at Toku sub releases on Twitter. That's been a very helpful account, though their postings have been a bit messy the last week in light of everything that's going on, which is honestly kind of understandable.
very understandable. Actually, if TVD isn't all watching this, just so you know, thank you, and also, I'd suggest looking at some more obscure shows to sub if you want to keep busy.
Yeah, they could definitely do some other stuff. Like they could try subbing. They could try getting a current sub of Doug Enders going up because I know there's a sub going on that's a little behind. I think you were telling me before recording.
Yeah, and also just like have like a little like also do season 1 because season 1's super hard to access. So I always say like Doug Enders was the first thing that come to mind, but there's also other obscure things like I forgot what this is called, the wheelchair show that is coming out.
Yeah, and the Daimajin series. What was that other? There was stuff, and I was thinking of as you were talking about the wheelchair show that just blinked right out of my head. But there's things they could do.
Yeah.
So mad respect to TB Nihon, despite not being into their subs personally, and I wish them the best of luck on their future endeavors. I think that's all there is really to say.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and move on to some official news here, which is that we have the announcement that there will be a complete selection modification Kamen Rider Zeronos belt coming soon. The pre-orders and supposedly more information beyond just the teaser image we have here will be coming on May 27th, which is only a few days away as of this recording. But from the looks of this, this is pretty exciting because the original Zeronos belt is a hella old toy and it could seriously use some updates. So it'll be nice to see that happen for Den-O fans. I personally have not watched Den-O though, so I probably won't be getting this.
And I haven't really seen much from what I've watched of Den-O. I haven't seen much of Zeronos, but he's pretty cool. So,
all right. Well, do we want to go ahead and move straight on to the big thing then?
Yeah. All right. I have a lot. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah. So Toei has filed. Excuse me.
They have not fired
the trademark. Not that we know of.
Yeah.
They have filed the trademark for the next Kamen Rider series, and that is Kamen Rider Revice.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the movie. Oh, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's next.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I missed that. Oh yeah, Kamen Rider Revice is a thing. That's all we know. It's just called Revice, the third series of the Reiwa era. Vac, anything you want to say about it?
There's not really much to say except like it sounds like a cool kind of obtuse name. Hopefully it leads to a cool show. If I were to predict at all what they're doing, I would guess maybe something technology themed. Maybe something a little more stylistic than the last couple seasons have been. I know in your Discord server earlier, friend of the show, Boingo Rider, was theorizing it might be like a return to more vehicle themed, which could be fun.
Yeah.
But
So here's
I don't
the
know.
thing. I'm thinking that because here's the route I'm thinking. I'm trying to see, okay, how does this connect to the 50th anniversary? Not like in a GO way where we just bring a bunch of past actors back. I mean in like a 50th kind of like franchise history kind of way. The vehicle thing does work for 50th anniversary of like the riders based on bikes. Also, like I just could be stretching the V5 because V is also five and like can also mean five. So maybe that's like reminiscent of 50th, and
Yeah.
um, I could just be stretching for that. We'll see when the press conference comes. Which I've heard not so good things about Saber. Like I watched like 10 episodes of it and I was enjoying it, but then I just kind of fell off. Like I didn't hate it, but oh god, it looks like it took a very bad dive.
Saber, from what I've seen, seems to be one of those incredibly divisive seasons where the people who really love it, and the people who really hate it, really hate it. And given that it's by the same writer who did Ghost, I'm almost certain I'll really hate it. So I'm not even going to try it at this point, honestly.
Honestly, I'm like half and half. Like from what I've watched, I like the first half, but the second half looks pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. So it's like a very half and half show. Well, it might be the most bipolar writer for me, but yeah. I'm pretty excited for Revice. Could be.
Yeah, it'll be fun to cover a weekly writer show on here.
Yeah, we've only covered movies. Kind of crazy.
But we'll bring you more. Go ahead.
Also, just very excited for the press conferences because writer press conferences are really good. Like even without subs, they're very like well presented. So yeah, I can't wait to cover that. And you could continue.
We'll bring you more updates on Kamen Rider Revice as they come out, folks. But for now, let's get to some news about the current writer in Sentai, which is that we are getting a return to big summer multi-franchise crossover movies. We have a teaser trailer for Kamen Rider Saber plus Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger Superhero Senki. This is exciting news because we haven't had a proper superhero wars in, I want to say, like 6 years?
We haven't had one since X-Aid and Q-Ranger with Cho Superhero Tyson. And actually, I don't mind Cho that much. Like, it's not a great film, but there's good parts.
I watched it totally out of sequence, so it was very confusing for me.
Oof. Yeah, so this seems to be like, well, do we consider this the 6th Tyson film or a spiritual successor to the Tyson films with a different title?
I think it's a spiritual successor that may be starting a new series of Tyson-esque films. Like Senkai... Let me search up what Senki means in Japanese real quick. To see if it could be like a similar thing. I probably should have done this before the show.
Yeah, we already have confirmed that returning actors are appearing. We don't know which ones. There's rumors of some pretty big Sentai ones. I can imagine like there'll be a lot of Sentai ones, but I'm not completely sure on Rider ones, especially because Saber isn't really an anniversary season. I can see Kamen Rider Revice coming in like as a cameo. Which that'll be a really cool fight, because the cameo fights are pretty cool. It's also like a very it's just very interesting looking back on cameo fights to see how much change from like the musical style to like, because usually the cameo fights are made before like the show starts proper production, so it's always interesting to see like how things have developed.
And upon BSing around with Google Translate for a few minutes here, it appears that there's no exact translation, but one meaning it can have is military history.
That's actually like...
I don't speak Japanese, so I might be completely off base there. It really depends on Google's databases. But that could be super fun if we're going into like sort of like a militant look at the histories of Sentai and Rider.
Yeah, I mean, like we have cameos that we know cameos will appear, so it's definitely gonna be like a very look back and celebration kind of movie.
Yeah, because this teaser trailer basically gives us no information aside from the fact that it is a big multi-franchise crossover, and it will be celebrating, I think it said Rider's 55th and Sentai's 45th?
No, it's Rider's 50th and Sentai's 45th.
Okay. Well, yeah, that looks exciting. And
Sentai cameos. Or more than cameos.
Yeah, we have somebody who has now completed the trifecta. A new Toku trifecta member, that special elite club. Katsuya Takagi.
Katsuya.
I want to say
Katsuya.
Okay. I'm good at pronouncing Japanese names, everybody. That's what we've learned so far on this podcast. He is going to be playing the commander of Gut Select, Saya Tatsumi, in Ultraman Trigger. This is exciting news because this guy was one of the cleanup crew in Kamen Rider Amazons, and he recently played Human Juren in that Zenkaiger special that we covered.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, he was really good. Like, he really good at that Human Duran, and I'm excited to see what he brings to Trigger. And honestly, this is really. I mean, I can't really judge the acting or the characters. I mean, character descriptions I can judge, but like, I'm very excited, to see what he brings to the table. I think next week we might get a trailer.
Ooh, that would be so exciting.
Because unless we get unless we get like a villain casting announcement, I think we've covered all the bases on the main cast.
Hey everybody, Jugless Juggler is back again.
Dang. Juggler's like, who's the guy, the guy who did like Maji Yellow and Beat Buster?
I don't know his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's like that of Sentai, but like I wouldn't mind seeing Juggler again. Maybe he'll appear in like if there's like a Trigger and Zet movie, which I can totally see them doing because Zet Corona kind of shafted Zet of a movie. So
I mean, honestly, having only seen Zet, I'm up for seeing more of Juggler in anything. I want to go back and watch that first show he was in. He's originally from Orb, right?
Yeah, Orb. It's on Tubi TV legally, so you can watch that.
Ooh. I'll definitely consider that. But yeah, I really like his look in this promotional photo here. He has kind of like a nice older leading man look about him, so he could be like a great presence in the show.
Wait a minute, I just realized something. Look at his belt.
What's up?
There's USBs.
Oh.
And he has an Ultra Spark. And the USBs are monsters.
You think he's they're doing the same thing they did with Juggler and Zet?
Kinda? Maybe not the exact thing. I think he might be a bit more malicious than Juggler. Like, he want more malicious intention. Instead of Juggler's more of an agent of chaos. He's more like, I'll do whatever. But, like, so, yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. That's gonna be weird to see him what maybe gives the spark to, like, our protagonist. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. But that's all for news. So let's go ahead and move on to new episodes. Take it away, Buster.
Okay. Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger, episode 12. The slowest snail has the hardest shell. So this episode is another comedy episode, and I like that because Zenkaiger is really good at comedy episodes. So basically, we get like two Kaiser, Juran, and Majin. They're all like kind of trapped in the slow-mo place, and they kind of have to save them. But like two Kaiser shows how Go-Kaiger he is by planning something ahead of time to defend them. And then, like, they use the Turbo Ranger gear to, fast forward. And then they beat the monster. We also see debuts for Star Caesar's mecha and Two Kaiser's mecha. At least one of the forms of Two Kaiser's mecha. And it's pretty funny and cool. So, yeah. Yeah,
it was a solid episode. I was a little disappointed, honestly, because somebody had described this on Twitter as a Majin focus episode. And I was like, oh, that's great. She hasn't really gotten a focus episode since her debut. And this is more of like a ensemble episode. I would say.
Is. Like it's a
and that's not a bad thing. I just went in with the wrong expectations.
Yeah, I mean, Majin still gets some pretty funny moments in it. Like especially because in the beginning they start flexing the eye expressions on the Kikainoids. So
yeah, and there's some great moments where like she's just. I like how they highlight that Juren isn't the only one. She's kind of frustrated with Two Kaiser as well. And, like, there's some great moments of her just mumbling angrily about him in the background.
Yeah. Actually, this brings up, like, a point. I like that just Majin is just so different from other pinks in Sentai. She's a bit more jealous, like, a bit more aggressive.
She's kind of a... Oh, God, what's the term for, like, a female otaku over there who's kind of a trash lady?
Neat?
She's no, that's more of that's a genderless term. I'm thinking Fujoshi. Is that the right term? Is she a Fujoshi?
I wouldn't know, but that you can just say that.
I don't know. Anime fans, comment down below and tell me what I think. Trash lady who likes pretty boys in anime fandom. What's that Japanese word? Tell me.
Yeah.
Engage with the algorithm. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. There was a lot of great little goofs and gags in it, and they advanced the plot quite a bit and laid in some interesting character development, especially with just continuing the theme of the last few episodes of when there's a situation that calls upon it, Flint joins in with the others to try and solve it, and then immediately goes like, "What? No, we're not friends. Shut up. We're cool. Shut up. Go away. I'm gonna leave now. Bye."
Conspiracy theory time. I think they originally planned to make Flint a ranger, but they were kind of stretching out the budget or something, and they only wanted to make one suit. I could be wrong.
I mean, with how good the Kikai suits are, I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Yeah, and how a bit repainty the Two Kaiser suit is. It's still a really good suit, but it's a repaint, so or like a remold. Do we have to talk about the next one?
Did you? We do, but not quite yet. Did you catch the little look Kaito was given her?
Oh no, I didn't.
Am I?
You're just
that help my? Okay, God damn it! I'm turning into a shipper. Is what these two are doing to me.
Yeah, dang.
And I didn't used to be a shipper when it came to Toku, but I'm like I feel like they're laying stuff down here. It's not just me. I'm not crazy. Shut up.
Okay. I don't have to recap the next episode.
Talking. It's a podcast. You wish. But and how'd you feel about the mechas in this episode? Because we got 2 new mechas. And
Star Caesar's one was
transformation sequence.
So I'll break this all down. So the Star Caesar's mecha is great. It's probably the best one we've had. I like the transformation sequence. It's funny, especially because the little SD guys they comment. I don't like the mecha itself. I don't know. It's a very nothing mecha to me.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where you can really tell it's just a toy. So didn't really do a lot for me. However, I loved the insert song they played during the fight because it's basically just, yo, what if the Zenkaiger ending was a battle theme?
Oh yeah. The recently they released I got my hands on digitally, of course, the Zenkaiger mini CD. That song wasn't on there, but there's still some really good bops on there. So
oh yeah, that I listened to that as well. It's very good. And then I like how Stay Caesar's Robo is just straight up a cardboard man. It's just a big old cardboard suit.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Star Caesar seems to be referencing Battle Fever J in a kind of way, like an edgy Battle Fever J, so that kind of fits with that aesthetic.
I would be very surprised if it ever transforms. I think that's literally just meant to be a suit.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be like a callback to old Sentai mecha, is what I think it is, so.
Yeah. And then, trying to think if there's anything else we need to talk about this episode. I don't know, the slow motion effects were very well done.
Yeah. We have to talk about Gurgun, don't we?
I've been avoiding it. I've really been trying to stall.
Look, I kind of forgotten a lot about this episode, so I'm sorry.
My drama list lied to me. I thought this show was 7 episodes long. It's 8 episodes. So not only do we have to talk about this episode, we have to talk about another episode next week.
Yeah, remember I forgot we kind of hyped this up as the finale.
Yeah, it's finally gonna be over, and then I'm like, hey, it's up, and you just ripped off the Band-Aid and went, that's not the end, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
what?
I had to I didn't want you to angrily go on Twitter and just that would have been horrible. Anyway, Girl Got Lucky, episode 7, Winter Comes, Spring Awakens. So this episode, Vac helped me. I honestly forgot because I watched this earlier in the week.
Yeah, I watched everything I'm talking about tonight, literally hours ago, so I can kind of go through this. So what has happened is, the game ends shortly after they all get into the back room and see all the various statues of the girls, and there's a very creepy moment where they start touching one of them, and they comment like, oh, it doesn't feel like a human or like a plastic statue or anything. It feels like a stuffed animal.
Ooh.
So that's fucking horrifying.
Yeah, that's actually one of the better parts of that
girl,
episode. Like I'd say, because
and then
like
rival girl. Go ahead.
no, you could finish.
Okay, rival girl from the red team comes in, and she sees everything for a split second before they get de-resed back to reality. Excuse me. We then see the aftermath of athlete girl, whose name I don't remember anybody's name in this fucking show. Athlete girl is erased from existence, and so there's a bit of like, oh shit, she's gone. That's sad. We gotta take away her desk, which has an inscription she left on it, still there, even though that makes no goddamn sense. Except, oh, it's dramatic for the characters to actually see it fade away.
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't have mind that part if it just what it was about characters I cared about.
Yeah, that would have been fine in a better show. But here it's it's a little detail that jumps out to you like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So they then try to go back to the model shop to see if the statues are there in the real world. And when they get in there, it's just a back room. And then rival girl shows up again and tells main girl, hey, I bet you didn't know, but you should probably be focusing on the game, because when the game is over, all the commanders who have lost, they get broken apart, because remember, they're model kits, and the commander that wins gets to become a human. This is the fucking consequences of the game, and we're introducing this in the penultimate episode.
Okay, actually, this brings me to a point I want to complain about the rival girl. She's too vague. She literally
how does she know everything?
I guess we're gonna find out in the last episode, but like it just like
I was based on some shit. I need you to help me with some shit, and basically outed him as the main villain, I think, because like his personality when she mentioned his online handle. But you're totally wrong about me being Mr. M, even though I'm very changed.
I don't know anymore.
So that happens.
Then we have to talk about...
Yeah, and then they go back to Girl Gun that night, and they get their He acts like what? And she's played by the same actress too. Like it's very obviously just an attempt to not have to hire another actress to play an additional member in this last quarter, or just not have them get a new member in the last couple episodes. It's so ridiculous.
Oh god! You know what this feels like? It feels like
she has a new gun. She has a new gun to sell a new toy, Buster. Look, she has cartridges that you can change what they do. Isn't that cool?
Toys in the last episode. Like, I know Kamen Rider does it sometimes, but like, I don't know anymore. Again, this is the most toy commercial. I have to keep emphasizing this. This is just a toy commercial show. There's like barely any substance. Like any substance there is taken from like you can just see way better in other shows. Like can I say Kamen Rider Gaim is better than this? I know you don't like Gaim, but like
dude, I don't like the latter half of Gaim. Gaim is fucking leagues and bounds ahead of this show in terms of quality.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Gaim had more time, but like,
hell, I'll say it. Ghost is leagues and bounds ahead of this show in terms of quality.
Oh, we're going there.
Megaforce is leagues and bounds ahead of this show in terms of quality.
Well, that's Megaforce.
This might be the new worst show I've ever seen, honestly. Yeah, dang. Robo Knight could make any. Why is it Robo Knight in this show?
Yeah, just have him appear in the last episode and just like say you need to stop or something. Like,
tell you what, if the last episode of this show has the Robo rap in it, I'll bump it up 2 points.
Okay.
From the -5 it currently has. But yeah, that happens, and we then waste like 8 minutes on getting this new character acclimated to Girl Gun and advertising her new toy. And then there's some drama involving the other team that has been a complete joke up until now, the yellow team.
Yeah.
They're suddenly a serious threat again? What? And like their commander is out for revenge. She really wants to punish Alice for some reason. What? Okay. And then it ends. It just kind of ends, and the next episode preview is, hey, we're gonna try really hard to win the girl gun so Alice can become human. Because remember 2 episodes ago when Alice said she'd like to be human, but she never explained why she even was hoping for that, or that would be a possibility. Yeah, it turns out this whole show is about fucking anime model kit girl becoming human. We're ripping off Code Lyoko.
God. If there's turns out to be an episode 9, we can't cover the show anymore, okay?
If there's an episode 9, I'll quit the podcast.
And then we'll just reboot it later as the Bionicle podcast.
I like how we're not even 15 episodes in, and already there's a show that has majorly made me regret making the mission statement of this series. We will cover every episode of every currently airing show.
I really hope there's
whoever
no season
made
2.
this show whoever made this show, we need to give them a stern talking to one day. We need to sit them down in a room, make them actually watch the show they made, and then say, all right, do you realize where everything went wrong? Because I don't even have the full list yet, and it's been 5 years.
To be fair, this show feels very committee, if that makes sense. Like, we need to sell the toy, we need to, showcase this, we need to, have an insert song about society or something.
Throw in the cute girl. Oh, I forgot about the song this episode. Holy shit. That sequence with the song having new lyrics and new footage to be about the model shop owner.
That was weird.
That was the most fucking bizarre thing. It felt like the show was taunting me. The show was going, yeah, we know this is garbage. What do you want? Did you expect this? Did you expect this show to be good? Yeah, because I expect every show to be good, damn it. I don't go in expecting things to be bad.
Even just fun, man. And unfortunately, I did not watch Nice Buddy episode 2 to watch this taste out of our mouths, so...
All right, well, let's go on to old episodes then, because I think we've covered everything with Girl Gun, and honestly, that's way more ranting than there should probably be in this show. So, Buster, what old shows did you watch this week?
Well, a lot. I don't know. Maybe it had something to... I don't know why I watched a lot of old shows this week. Anyway, reviews. I make videos and talk about shows.
Hey.
Yeah. So, we'll start with the... so I actually watched a full series this week. Ultraman Ginga.
You did the old power move.
It's only 12 episodes, so... the first... Because there is a Ginga S with more episodes, but that's a sequel show with, new characters, but,
Well, I said you did a power move. I didn't say you did a super power move.
Okay. Yeah, we'll cover, Ginga S soon. And probably the Ginga movie, but I just got the Blu-ray set from Best Buy, so I'm watching Ginga for the review. Actually, to give some context, this is the first Ultraman show of the new generation line, and this is basically this is kind of a show a couple years in the making at the time, because Supro, they've kind of been in a rough financial position. They got bought out, a lot of their shares were bought out by Bandai and also other companies, but mostly Bandai, because they make the Ultraman toys. So they've kind of been saving up money through movie releases and stuff to kind of make a new Ultraman show. And Ginga is basically it's basically the Final Fantasy of Ultraman. You know what I mean by that? Where it's this is our it's not gonna be the greatest thing ever, but dang it, we put our heart and soul into it. That's cool. It's not the highest budget. They literally make a comment about it one episode with just two members of a photo crew coming. But dang it, it's wholesome. It's it has a nice. It's a balanced amount of new and references to old stuff. It's low budget. It's not the highest budget Ultra show. The CGI can be wonky, but dang it, the messages about hopes and dreams and those wholesome moments between characters, and just... It was written by Forze's writer, one of the head writers of Forze, and...
I've heard they're a good boy.
Dude, last time I checked. But, those themes of friendship from Forze are clearly seen here, and it's... I know a lot of people, in the Ultra fandom kind of hate Ginga, or I think more Ginga S, but, I know there's quite a few people who hate Ginga. I disagree. This is I think this is a great show. Again, it's not the grandest or biggest budget, but for being a show set in a small town, it really does. It's just a great. Just watch Ginga, y'all. It's a very wholesome show. I will
Nice.
give a weird note. The Blu-ray episode 7 on the Blu-ray is the theater special because originally Ginga only had 11 episodes, but also had a mini movie shown in theaters. So they just took that mini movie and made it an episode 7, which it still fits. It makes the story flow because there's Ginga transforms into Ultraman Tiga in that movie, and Tiga comes back in the special. So yeah,
All right.
yeah. So Ginga's good. I'd recommend it. It's not on Tubi yet, but the Blu-ray's relatively cheap. You also get Ginga S and the movies with it.
How much does that go for?
I got mine for 20.
Well, that's a hell of a good deal.
Yeah, Milk Creek, I know sometimes it's $40, but they've been lowering the prices to $20, $30 for their Blu-rays. So, but the cool thing also about the Blu-rays is that they also include digital copies to rent to use on this movie site called Movie Spree, which so if you want to watch it digitally,
Yeah, I think you linked me Movie Spree once as a place to watch Ultraman.
Really? I think it was Tubi, but whatever. And also I finished Build this week.
Hey,
Yeah.
what do you think of it the second time around?
Still fantastic. Still not sure if O's or this is my favorite writer. They're very neck and neck, but I still love Build a lot. Honestly, I know a lot of people hate the ending. I think the ending is beautiful. I'm gonna try to be vague because I don't want to spoil everything because it's the final arc of the show.
I think, without saying what it is, I think the ending is one of those things where it takes you a second to realize what's going on, and depending on the kind of person you are, either you're going to be like, oh, okay, that's cute, or what, that ruins everything.
Yeah. Honestly,
I was very much, oh, that's cute.
yeah. Yeah, I even when I first watched it, I loved the ending, and I know kind of the New World v Cinemas kind of soil it, but I don't really consider Rider v Cinemas as part of the main show. So, what are you gonna do?
And I mean, they're V cinemas. You don't have to watch them and consider them canon if you don't want to. More often than not, the crossover films don't even reference them.
Yeah. But yeah, very yeah, it's just a beautiful show. It kind of drags for a bit, but it's still good. Even if it went on a little longer than it should have, by a couple episodes, it's still a really good show, and I still feel like it's overrated for a reason, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's one of those shows where I've never quite clicked with it in the way I feel a lot of people do, but I definitely realize why it's considered to be so good, and I appreciate it for being sort of a shining example of what Kamen Rider can be. If I can be a bit of
you're completely right on this. This is because I mentioned this in my Arc 1 analysis that I did on my channel, but this was intended to kind of fuse Showa era first half of Heisei and second half of Heisei into one kind of a grand culmination. Heck, I consider this a better Heisei finale than Geo, in my opinion.
Yeah, I remember when I watched it through the first time, because I was sort of way back in early days of Analytical Fanboys was when this was happening. I would talk about it in the What We've Been Up To this week segment, and I remember at one point I said to Boingo, it feels very much to me like this was the concerted effort of, okay, it's the end of an era. We have to really do our best to show exactly everything that makes this point in Kamen Rider history great. And then next year for the actual end, we can pull a decade and just have a fun party series.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, actually, I might I'm gonna be watching the movies soon, and I've actually never watched Be the One, and I know you really like that, so I'm very interested to see Be the One. And
Be the One is low key the best Rider movie that isn't a crossover, in my opinion.
Even better than Zeto?
If you want something standalone, I'd say go for Zeto and J. But as far as series movies,
okay,
stuff that doesn't stand alone, I would definitely say Build is the best Rider movie, or Be the One is.
Yeah. I kind of like honestly like weirdly enough what turned me off on the Build movie is the name because it kind of started this weird trend for a while where they named the movie after the theme song. Like, oh, yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess I mean, maybe it makes sense in Build. I know it makes sense in Geo because the villains are literally called the Coursers. So I don't know. But yeah, Build and Ginga, very good shows. Really recommend you watch them. Ginga is legally available through Amazon, like in the America through Mill Creek's Blu-ray, and Build, you know what to do.
There's avenues. There's ways, people.
Yeah.
But hey, something else that there's ways to watch. And like I don't mean that positively. I don't mean that negatively. It's just one of those things where like. I don't want to go super heavy spoilers like I have with the last couple batches of episodes because it's the ending. But I'll just say it was one of those things where like everything that I have been predicting about the show was neither confirmed nor denied by the ending of the show. And the way it ends also kind of doesn't give you any real answers. It's one of those things where like it's a satisfying ending. But it's like, but what? Why was this way? What was going on here? How does this matter in the grand scheme of things? Are we going to see this character again? I don't know, because the next thing after this was Versus Road, and then there hasn't been any Garo news since COVID hit.
Yeah. Actually,
it's like really.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to wrap up like overall thoughts on Jinga.
If you've already seen the character's other appearances, it's definitely a yeah, why not? Go ahead and check it out. But if you're going into it blind, don't go into it blind. This is not a good first exposure to the character, and it's not a good first Garo series. It's definitely one of those for the fans kind of shows. Because especially with the way it ends, it's one of those things where you're only going to be okay with it if you're in it for the long haul, I think.
Yeah. Honestly,
I do like it. I'd say it's like a 7 out of 10 show. But yeah, not like a must watch.
Yeah, a couple things before we end. Actually, I want to ask you. First off, what show are you planning to watch next? Because I know you've been like watching a couple like old shows throughout the weeks. So.
Well, I'm probably gonna take a little break from Toku because I'm trying to just finish everything that I've been in progress with.
Okay, so
this
we're not gonna talk about much
Wars and Hickman's X-Men.
Yeah.
I want to kind of tackle one extra thing at a time going forward, but I will return to classic Toku eventually, and if I can get the frickin' folder open. The next thing I watch is probably either going to be I'm either going to treat myself and I'm going to watch Dog Enders, or I'm going to rip off a Band-Aid that has long been sitting on my arm and watch the Ghost movies.
Ooh. You sure you want to do that?
Hiroshi Fukujita's last performance as Rider 1 to date is in one of them. I kind of have to, I feel like.
Okay, at least watch the Rider one. I actually heard good things about that one. Like from what I know, it's very much like a epilogue story for him rather than like a ghost movie, so you should be fine.
Yeah, so I'll probably talk about one of those in like a month or so, I would say, is how long it's going to take me to be able to get to that.
Yeah. I think since I asked you, I should probably talk about what I'm planning next. So probably.
Yeah, what are you doing next, Buster?
Yeah. Probably Ginga S, because I just finished Ginga. Probably Ginga S
Makes
next. I want to do another Kamen Rider. Maybe X-Aid, I'll do a rewatch, or maybe I'll finally get around to like finishing Agito, or starting Kabuto. We'll see. Because or finishing Wizard. I have Wizard's the only Phase 2 series I have not finished, but I really like what.
How far are you from finishing Wizard?
What?
What episode of Wizard are you on?
24. Around.
You're in the dead zone, buddy. There's not a lot of plot development for at least 10 episodes.
Yeah, people say Wizard's slow, but I really like the first half of Wizard from what I've seen, especially the Phoenix arc.
The Phoenix arc is one of the best parts of the show. But as the Wizard guy, I will just tell you, you're in the area where it's mostly filler and slight character development. But that slight character development is worth watching to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a completionist anyway. At least when it comes to shows, movies, I can like take or leave. But like, yeah. So should we wrap up?
Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up. Why don't you tell the people who you are and where they can find your stuff if you want them to?
Sup on Buster Corp. I just released the Build Arc 2 analysis I've been hyping up. And I currently have the third one written. I just need to get some notes on that, and we can fix it up and make it a video, and it will be done. And then I will be free from Build, even though I don't want to be free from Build. I want to be stuck in it. But yeah, check that out. I also do other video essays and stuff, so yeah.
And where can people find you?
The Buster Corp YouTube channel. I also have a second channel, Veil Busters, where I do OC stuff. So if you're curious and like whatever weird ideas for stories come in my brain.
Excellent. Well, I am the Backhuminator. You can find me at youtube.com/thebackhuminator. That's spelled THEVACUUMINATOR. I also have a Twitter at the Backhuminator and an Instagram at _Backhuminator. And before you go check it out, any of that, I would implore you to do me a favor. Go ahead and follow this podcast on whatever platform you're listening to, and check out Modular Media on YouTube if you haven't already. It's just the first channel that comes up when you search Modular Media on YouTube. Do me a favor, give this podcast itself a like and a comment, subscribe, ring the bell in order to enable notifications so you can get every podcast we put out as they come out, and follow us on Twitter at the Modular Media for updates and stuff whenever we need to put them out through there. And we have a subreddit, which is r/Modular Media, for the same reasons. But that's going to do it for this week in Tokusatsu. We'll see you next week when we find out what happens that week in Tokusatsu.